Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Jermaine Morgan TV. In today's lesson, I'm going to talk about how to fill in the groove, so stay tuned. Alright guys, today we're in the key of F sharp, and I wanted to show you guys how to navigate through the backing track that I posted a few days ago. I will link that. You can see it here. You can also see it in the description below. Alright, now first things first, this backing track is in the key of F sharp, and what it does, it gives us the live feel, or it gives us the feeling of playing in one of those really contemporary worship, gospel worship type songs. And one of the questions I get a lot is, man, I don't know how to fill in that type stuff. I don't know how to really add to that groove. And I want to give you guys some ideas of how you can navigate around those type tracks. And to address that question, what I wanted to do first was give you guys backing track that has that type feel, so we can kind of really dig into, okay, this is how we would play around something. Now, we can't predict all the gospel songs and all the contemporary worship songs that will feel like this, but it's somewhere kind of in the middle, a little happy place in the middle of what it would feel like to play one of these songs. So, all right, so right off, we're in the key of F sharp. A lot of sharps. I know once you see the backing track, you're like, wait a minute, what's all these sharps? But don't worry about it. Same formula, same format. It's just a different key. So don't be afraid of the keys when you see these different notes. Don't be afraid of the key. All right, so let's get the progression of the song. All right, here we go. 1 to the 6. And then we go to that flat 7. Walk it up. All right, and all we're doing for the walk up is that 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 5, 1. And it's that simple. Moving on. Back to the 1, to the 6, the flat 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Groove. All right, so before we get too far into the chorus groove, now what I'm doing through the verses, it's a line that's happening in the verse, and so the approach that I took was it's pretty much that. You can play that finger style. I just chose to play it thump style. You can play it either finger style or thump style. There's no requirement that you have to do it this way or have to do it that way. Nowadays, you may find yourself in songs playing both styles. You may play half of the song might be thump and half of it might be finger style, or it might be the chorus might be finger style and the verses might be thump, or vice versa. So it's one of those things. First off, you have to make sure you find a happy tone that you can do both, or find a good median in your tone where you can get away with doing slapping or thumping, and you can play the finger style bass. But just being able to switch back and forth. And really, I'm not doing a lot of moving through that verse section of the song as you heard at the beginning, but I am doing a little bit more moving when it comes to the chorus. Now, on the flip side of that, when you get to the later part of the song and we're still playing that verse progression, you can move around that with a little bit more stuff. So let's give an idea of some stuff you can do. So what you heard me doing there, so I'm just doubling up on a thump. And so there I just walked up to the 3. Instead of waiting to get to the 6, I led into the 6. Remember on last week's lesson, if you hadn't checked out last week's lesson, please do that. I'll link that as well at the end of this video, so make sure you hang around all the way to the end so you can see that. But as well, I led into the next chord progression. I know just basically in gospel, a lot of times you can go 3, 6, or 7, 3, those different things to lead into the next note. So, and just doubling up on those octaves as well. And another thing I'm doing, instead of waiting to go to that flat 7, I'll lead to that flat 7 by playing the 4 first. Because I know the 4 here is the 5 of that flat 7, so I can always do that pivot move in terms of that 5-1 type thing, that 5-1 type idea. So So you know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that every time, but every now and again, if you want to sneak that in before you go to a flat 7, that in the rule of bass playing, you can kind of get away with that, especially in gospel music. All right, so moving on to the chorus. All right, so what you heard me do, I'll slow it down. So I'm going 1, just octaves. The same thing, leading from that, leading up to the 6 with the 3. So I'm going chromatic from the 2, chromatic from the 5. And I gotta go back to the 1. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't have to go back to the 1, but I lead into that 1 to get me to the 4. So I'm going 1 to the 6. See how I led into that 6? I didn't have to go to the 1. I'm just going to the 4. That's what I'm trying, from the 6 to the 4. To the 6. To the 4. So on those things where I have a lot of time to spend there, I can move around on that 4, so I can take this idea of the 3/6. We've talked about that many times before, but again, I'll slow that down. I'm not going to break that down in detail again, but it's all it is. I'm going 4 and the 3/6 of that 4. Flat 5, 5, octave 1 or 4, whatever you want to think of it as. So that's one way you can do it. 3, 6, flat 5, 5, 2, 5, back to that 1 or 4, however you want to think of it. Hopefully I'm not losing you guys when I'm calling it 1 and 4. It is 4, but when I'm moving around and I'm thinking of the different positions in terms of the 1, that's what I mean when I say 1 or the 3/6 of the 4 when I say that. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And so that's all I'm doing, moving around that groove, just leading into everything that I'm going to. So if you're looking for some ideas of how to navigate around that stuff, and pretty much I'm going to be doing the same thing throughout the rest of this song because it's pretty much repeating as far as the backing track. So the biggest thing, you just want to lead into the areas that you're going to. Fill up the empty spaces with things that actually fit the chord. You know that's a major chord when we go to that 4, that B. I'm basically just taking that major triad and just arpeggiating around it. Okay, and I'm just leading into that triad. So, okay. And so you can take that pretty much around the entire neck of the bass, and that gives you a basis or some groundwork or some things you can start working on. Of course, we can dig more into this subject, but I just wanted to give you guys some initial things you can take now and start applying when you're on these type songs or on this type groove. Remember to take that backing track, work with it. We'll continue more in this lesson. If you want to be a part of this, I encourage you to become one of my monthly members today. I have tons of videos where I talk about more aggressive playing, more aggressive bass playing, more digging in, that kind of stuff. So be sure to sign up for the monthly membership now if you haven't done that already. And if not, I will see you guys on the next lesson. Thanks for rocking with me today. I'm out. Peace.